Beginning July 1, money is cheaper to go to college. Now, college isn't going to be cheaper, man. Those suckers are going to get more money from you. Money you got to borrow. So be careful. But if you're borrowing government money, the price of this money went down as of July 1, because that's when the new year starts, July 1 till July 1 next year. So that money, the interest rate went down from 4.66%, so 4.66% down to 4.29%. Doesn't sound like much, but it can mean something. Actually, you'll save like $117 on a $5,500 loan that you would pay back in 10 years. So that's $117, man. That's be able to buy a book, right? Okay, and the direct loans for graduate students went from 6.21%. See, that's more expensive than undergraduate. They pay 6.21%, and that's going down to 5.84%. So the undergraduate money is at 4.29, and the graduate money is 5.84. But a typical graduate student who is borrowing, like $20,000 over 10 years, they're going to save $457. So $457, that's almost 10 books maybe in college. I mean, they get you coming and going, don't they? Boy, I understand why education is so important, and they're charging the hell out of everybody. Other countries, you go for free. This is nuts on developed countries. And we're actually preparing a report that will show you all that. Well, here's another report from the Department of Education about Pell Grants. The Pell Grants, that's the free money you get, and that's income determinant. It's usually, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. You can't make more than that. Depends on a lot of circumstances, to get a Pell Grant. Money you don't have to pay back. Okay, now here's last year, 8.6 million people got free money to go to college from the government. That's cash. 8.6 million people. Okay, now interesting thing in this report from the Department of Education that came out, they showed that 75% of those people who got Pell Grant money to come back have no savings and no cash on hand. In other words, they have no other money to their name at all. And well, I mean, that sort of sounds maybe logical. If you're going to school and you can't afford it and you're getting a grant to go, that you're not going to have a lot of cash around. But what's more interesting is they compared that to data 5 years ago, and that was only 60% of the people had no money or savings or any other cash on hand. So that went from 60% of the people to 75% of the people just in 5 years. See, that's why people are getting tighter and tighter, man. We don't have money. The average person. So, I mean, believe it or not, man, the incomes haven't been rising in about 20, 30 years for the average worker. And, all the extra money we're working in our economy is just going to fat cats, it seems to me. Also, here's some other interesting data about Pell Grants. That's the free money. 1 out of 3 people who apply get it. That's 33% of the people who apply for the money get it. So 1 out of 3 apply for the money get it. 91% of the people who get the money make less than $50,000. So that's up to $50,000, 90% of the people are getting. So over $50,000, 10% of the people are getting. Or 10% of the people who get the money earn more than $50,000. And actually 50% of the people who get the money are making less than $20,000. So that's why you have to, the income, when you fill out a government application, don't worry about the income. You never know what they really mean by any of the data. Just fill out the application, so it takes you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever the heck it is, and you see if you get it. That's the only way. For you to say, oh, I make too much money, or whatever, you don't really know till you fill out the application. People up to, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 are getting this money, so you should apply, even though half the people are making less than $20,000. So you could be one of the others. Okay, now here's some other interesting data. 9 out of 10 of the people who get Pell Grant money, this is the grant money to finish college, and graduate from college. So in other words, you got free money from the government to go to college, and you graduate. 90% of those people have more loans than all their peers. So they have an extra $4,750. So $4,700 in loans they also have to pay back. So they don't have to pay back the Pell Grants, but these people have more loan money, almost $5,000 more in loan money than the average college student. So the people without money are really borrowing more money, which is unfortunate because you get stuck. You got to figure out how to do this without borrowing money. It means going to community college, or now you can take free courses online from accredited universities and things like that, or for a fraction of the cost. You take 2 years and go to community college, which is only like $1,500, and you could, Pell Grant will pay for all of that. Make sure you apply for every bloody scholarship that may or may not have your name on it. And there's enough lists at the university. Don't go online and try to search for scholarships, because if you're not sophisticated enough on that, you're just going to get roped into people who want to sell you stuff. And so here's where to go to find out about the Pell Grants. Okay, this is the free money. It's studentaid.gov. So studentaid.ed.gov. Okay. Find out about student grants. And it doesn't matter what age you are. You be like me, 72 years old, and you're not making a lot of money, you still could get a student grant to go to college, learn something. And at 72 years old, man, I got 20 more years, so I could become a doctor or whatever I want. I think our society is phenomenal nowadays. Where else can you pick up like $80,000 in 2.5 weeks on a real idea? Not some scam or flipping houses or something like that, but no, developing a real idea and people want it or whatever. And see, you can't do that. You can do that on the internet nowadays. And this is what this next interview is about. This is a guy actually had another job. He's actually, he supplied fishing stores up and down the East Coast, man. But he was really a jock, and it was always interested in sports. So on the side, he developed this little toy. It's like a miniature little Frisbee that you could just stick in your back pocket. But it flies, you throw it like a baseball, you gotta whip it like that, just like a baseball. You can throw it, over a home run fence 200 and some yards if you want. An average person would, man, and it's soft and it's light, it's lighter than a Frisbee. And it's just a great, fun, sporty thing to have, and that's he just had a crazy idea for this, and all part-time. And that when you're passionate, like he is, he's working a full-time job. He's got another business that he's doing. But this is such a passionate idea. Didn't take a whole lot of money, because now he's got $80,000. He just made his prototype, put it on the internet. Man, they're throwing it, throwing money at him 200 yards away or 200 feet away. That's what's good. That's why we have more. Everybody gets tired at work at 3 or 4 o'clock. Because you don't like what you're doing. That's the reason you get tired. I always thought about, man, your job should be like a fun date. That, God, you don't want it to be over, ever. And that's what you should be, because your job, what you do every day, man, your job is the most important thing you do in your life. But don't forget, more than half your waking hours is spent working, contributing. So if you do that with something you really love, you think it's important, you're having fun, that's not work. You take work out of the equation. You just can't wait to get up to play. Just like you can't wait to get up to play golf if you're a golfer and you want to stay out there on the golf course 36 holes until it's dark or raining or snowing, you don't care. Why doesn't it work like that? Because we don't dig inside ourselves enough to find out what we really should be doing that is like that for us. And then how to figure out how to get income from that so that we could give more. See, all that is about giving more. See, and if you're doing something like this guy with his little baseball-sized Frisbee, he's giving more to the rest of us to enjoy life better. Because he's pouring his heart out doing this, see. And to me, that's the ultimate in life, is trying to find out what you could pour your heart out more than ever to do. So you give more. You go to sleep and go to bed tired, and you earn that sleep. instead of going to bed and trying to escape another bad day and wishing tomorrow isn't Monday. So watch this interview.
Well, Alex Peru, and what we want to know about you is zipchipsports.com. You're on Kickstarter now and just selling the hell out of this thing. Everybody wants one of these. And when you watch your video, I mean, you can't help but want one. I'm going to get some. My younger boy would love this. I'm going to get the 3-pack so he can have it with friends. Man, it's something that anybody could play anywhere. I mean, it's just like the size of a baseball, but it looks more like a Frisbee. And you can throw it like a baseball, and it just goes. You can throw it 200 yards without any effort at all. I could never throw a baseball effort. I could hit. That means I could throw it to the shortstop very easily from second base. And an old guy like me, I can't do that anymore. But I can do it with your thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. No, it really is. I mean, that was a great analogy between it being a kind of a cross between a ball and a Frisbee, and that's really what we think of it as. You know, it is thrown more like a ball, but it flies more like a Frisbee. And for that reason, we kind of think of it almost as like the missing link in the evolution of the.
So you can catch it. You don't need a $200 glove to catch one of these.
No, it's all in one fun. You know, it's absolutely.
And you can dive for it like a Frisbee. I mean, again, your video shows all these people that are having so much fun doing it, man. I can't believe it, because it floats a little bit in the air, and so it's easier to catch than a baseball or something coming at you 90 miles an hour.
It's definitely not going to hurt when it hits you. That's for sure.
Right. Then you'd be afraid to catch it. You just let it go by. Yeah?
Even a Frisbee can be a little daunting coming in hot because it weighs a lot. This thing weighs under an ounce, so it's.
Oh wow! So this is lighter than a Frisbee, softer than a Frisbee.
It's actually to get specific, it would be a little heavier than a Frisbee if you scaled a Frisbee down to the exact same size.
I see.
But because it's only a fraction of the Frisbee's size, it is still a fraction of its weight.
And you can take it anywhere and put it in your back pocket like a phone or something, and you have a toy here.
If you look at all the other things you play catch with, the baseball and gloves.
Right.
Football's large. A Frisbee is flat but still huge. This thing you can put in any pocket.
Wow.
Play catch, whenever you want and wherever you want.
See, what you need is a stand down on the mall. They have lots of Frisbee games down on the mall in Washington, D.C., And if you were selling these things, and they're less than $10. Actually, on the Kickstarter, they're only $7. And if you buy the pack of 3, you get them for a little over $6 a piece, man.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, if I think that's honestly, that's probably where we're going to go with this. At some point, try to get it in front of people that can buy it in person.
Right.
I think it looks good on the video. It's twice as good when you see it, whizzing through the air, because it's like, I think it still harkens back to the things that you said about it. You throw it more like a ball, but it flies more like a Frisbee, so people can relate to it, but it's still new to them, so it's got a great...
And the most amazing thing to me is that you're in the fishing business. How the hell? I mean, you're not going to catch fish with this thing, but you just love sports so much.
That's true. The fishing business, though, I did get to apply a little bit of the design technology that I had learned there, as far as different resins and different tooling.
Oh, really? Wow.
So there was, as far as coming up with this, with the prototyping process, the zip chip here, I definitely had... I had some inspiration in the fishing thing.
In your fishing business, you supply product to fishing gear to all up and down the East Coast, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we have about 50 distributors we sell to up and down the coast, and those stores then go ahead and sell to the public. So with the zip chip, this is the sort of product that we're trying to find where exactly it will fit in, because those stores won't be able to carry it.
Right.
They do strict.
Maybe I could see somebody, guys going out and fishing. Hey, they play catch, and it's a little toy. But I mean, that's what I have in mind. Mostly a bunch of guys going fishing.
Yeah.
And guys like to do sports too, and they don't want to bring bats and balls and all this kind of stuff.
I would say so. If you were to be fishing with a bunch of guys, and I hadn't even considered it, but that's a great idea. This is probably the only thing you could play catch with. On the same time you were going fishing.
Right. And then even if you're fishing on the boats and it's floating, everything else.
Boat to boat, absolutely.
Yeah. And then even if you lose it, $7. It's not like a football, $30 or whatever, $50, or something like that. That makes sense to me, because it's mostly a guy thing, and most of this will probably be guy stuff.
I would say so. Yep. Yeah. I mean, girls can. they can do it, but I would agree that guys.
But I mean, now I see a lot of women playing frisbee down on the mall. I mean, there's co-ed teams, so I would imagine same thing with this.
Yeah, an athletic girl that likes to be outside and
Right.
throw things around. A girl who some of them like it, some of them don't. So.
Right. No, I mean, this is maybe there's Title IX money for this,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're from UConn. You know about how good girl basketball players are. So
You got that right. They all get free zip chips if they want them.
Right. So they could be the chip it. And then soon it'll be the Olympics. Man, this is the cheapest Olympic sport in the world, right?
That's true. I know. That's why we'll probably get countries from all over actually having a chance at this one, as opposed to ice hockey. We got.
Because size doesn't matter, right?
No, absolutely. Which is why, honestly, if it was to come into a game, I was thinking about, how the zip chip could be transferred
Right.
to the game. That's something we're still working on. So anybody who likes the zip chip just for throw and catch, if they have any ideas
For a game.
I'd like to see that turned into a game, or they can invent their own game, because it's not limited just to one. You can.
Well, what is it? I mean, the frisbee. I mean, I want to watch somebody. What do you call that frisbee game they play? What?
Ultimate.
Yeah, ultimate frisbee. Man, I mean that's like football, going up and down the field and passing the thing. So we could do with that little thing and make longer passes.
We definitely play it. We've done a few pickup ultimate games with the chip, so it's.
Yeah, well, it's there. Well, you're a delight, and thanks for doing this, Alex, because I think you got a great pocket toy for anybody now. And to the kids, kids can put this in their knapsack and go to school and then have a game to play with at school. They always have it waiting at the bus stop. They could be throwing this back and forth and helping them. And even, see, this is something for the coaches to give their kids to practice so they don't have to practice with a hard ball.
That's true, yes.
The hand-eye coordination.
Absolutely. If you're looking for something, like you said, eye-hand coordination, something to dial in your skills, this will put them to the test. So I agree. That's a great application for it as well.
So you can start your 2-year-old now with one of these things. Start catching this. Yeah, right.
They'll think it's a chew toy, but they'll help us that as well.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. That is zipchipsports.com. ZIPCHIPSPORTS.com. See, I flunked English in college. I'm like, you have a package there? Show a package.
Yeah, so this is one of the prototype of the packages.
Yeah, that's a cute package, man.
It's nice. So we're working on getting it dialed in just for our backers and going.
Can you show it? Yeah. See, it looks like that's how you would hold it. Throw it like a baseball.
It's a sidearm throw. It's a forehand sidearm throw. It's not backhand.
Great.
It's forehand.
ZipChipSports.com. Alex, keep fishing, keep throwing.
Thanks, Matthew. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now here's how to turn your hobby into a full-time job, but to do it part-time until you get rid of your full-time job. See, I mean, I think so many of us have jobs that are mediocre. I mean, I sort of like it, and we gotta stay there because we gotta pay bills and things like that, but there's no spark anymore. You don't wake up in the morning, you just can't wait to get to work and do things, and gosh, your hobbies, your things that you love coming home to do and can't wait to work on, that should be the thing you're doing all day, and you should figure out a way to get paid for doing that. And that's what this next interview about, man. He finally figured out a way, to take his love for cars, actually. I mean, he put himself through school, college, by fixing up cars. He'd buy an old clunker and fix it up and sell it, and put himself through college for 3 years doing that. But he was studying, software engineering. And I don't know, he probably maybe got a job with an aircraft company or something like that, and writing on a piece of software that's gonna pull a switch some days when the weather's cold or something. Stuff that isn't so interesting, but it has to be done. And that's what happens. We get in these large organizations and we're giving little tasks that we have no idea what the heck it is, and we feel that we're contributing to life at all. So that's why now I think, and now with the internet and all this stuff is out there to help you do the things you really want in life, it's possible to work towards that. It's not going to happen, like by next Tuesday, what you see in my infomercials, I did this, and next Thursday I was a gazillionaire. No, it takes patience. and learning and things like that. So you could do it part-time, and that's what he did. Yeah, and what he did is actually he's got a scooter that's a carry-on bag. Actually, a carry-on bag that's a scooter. So you go to the airport and your carry-on bag, you get on, and you. You go to the airplane and you pull it up, put it in the luggage, and come back and do it. And it actually has a place to recharge your phone or your iPad or whatever the heck you're doing. And, it's just all this stuff that he's been playing around with and figuring out how to do it, things like that. And we're going to need things like that. See, your idea, whatever it is that you think the world needs, well, there's probably a lot of people who believe that too. I mean, we're all not that brilliant, have an idea nobody else thought of before. They just never got around to doing anything about it. And now, see, you can do something about that idea of yours. And you can start working on it part-time and get money on the internet to do it. That's what he did now. And it'll show you, in this interview, how he raised money on the internet. And now he's got a distribution system. He's getting close, I'm sure. He's chucking all the software, jobs. And it's going to just now be a manufacturer and distributor of this, and hardly with any money at all. Look, it'd be a manufacturer before in our country, man, to do something like that. You had to be big fat cat money bags, have a big factory, have lots of employees, have lots of all this talent for everything. You don't need any of that anymore. You just need an idea and follow your nose, man. You could find a YouTube video to explain anything to you. You don't have to take a course or anything like that, or get talent somewhere across the world for $100 to solve some technical problem. I mean, physics is physics, no matter where it is. And you can get problems like that solved for next to nothing. So that's, I think, what is so exciting in our country right now. And for everybody to live, and to live better. How are you going to take the inside of you that is really special and bring it out? Bring it out for the rest of us to enjoy that's special about you. So watch how he's doing that. Well, Anthony Chan. How do you pronounce it? Chan. Okay. I'm studying. I know ni hao, but I can't. So many. I've been trying to study Mandarin about 4 years, man. I barely know 7 words. But it's nice to meet you.
Good enough.
And Anthony, you got. Oh, by the way, what is your website to find this besides Indiegogo?
Yes. Cool Pets, COOL. PEDS. .us.
Okay, coolpeds.us, and if people go there, they'll see your Indiegogo campaign, and they'll also see the coolest motorized carry-on piece of luggage, and you don't even have to carry it on anywhere. You can just ride it down the street. God, it's a little, like a carry-on piece of luggage, as it says. And it flips down, you stand on it, and it's an electric scooter to go anywhere you want. Through the airport, out of the airport, go to the subway, go to shopping, go to work, go to anything. And for a few $100s, man, you got transportation that is so cool.
Awesome.
that people, you'll be able to pick up women, attractive men, and everything. You got to start selling these like the cars. I mean, cars now. You don't sell getting down the street, they sell how important and sexy you're going to be, But this is transportation you can't get anywhere else. Real transportation.
Right. I really get a lot of people asking, especially girls, like asking me where to buy one. Can I try it? Can I try it? Seriously, I get a lot of that when I write that.
So that's why you went into this business. You couldn't sing well enough to be a rock star, right? And have groupies. So the coolest motorized carry-on is what you feel it's better than being a rock star.
That's right.
But it's really, I mean, you're an engineer, right? And you've been studying the States. You're China-born, right? Chinese-born? And came here for school as a software engineer and just started tinkering around. And this is not even your background, but just tinkering around. And man, you're an inventor of one of the neatest products in the world.
Actually, I worked on cars. I raced cars for many years actually in Los Angeles.
Oh.
I worked on built my race cars. So I worked on a lot of mechanical.
I see. So you were mechanically inclined, but you didn't go race car building school. You taught it yourself, right?
Yeah.
But it was interesting. You said you paid your tuition at UCLA by taking older cars. You know, like you said, you had a 72 Mercedes that you bought, you know, like junk for, you know, $600, fixed it up, and you got $1,600, and you paid your way through UCLA doing that. Huh?
So yeah, I did that for 3 years. Yeah. Fun.
Wow, that's terrific. Yeah. So this now is very popular. You have it in Europe cities, right? Cities in Europe.
Yeah.
Shanghai, it's a killer product. I mean, I was just there myself, and I could see how this would be wonderful. You know.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah. Because they have little scooters all over.
Yeah.
But this, what's so nice about the scooter, you got a scooter because you can't go, this goes up to 10 miles an hour, right? Something like that?
Oh, more than that. About 15 on some models.
Wow. Well, I mean, in cities, I mean, I have a regular scooter like a Vespa, and I don't want to even go more than that. So this goes fast as any.
Cool.
Yeah, this goes faster. And then plus you just, you know, like a piece of luggage, a carry-on luggage, you can put it in the airplane on the luggage rack, and then you don't even need a cab when you get to the airport. You can ride your luggage into the city.
If it's close enough, maybe to the hotel next door.
Right. I mean, it's nothing you take on the highways, right?
No. And you can also charge your phone through the USB port.
Oh, it's a phone charger.
So while you wait at the boarding gate, you can charge your phone.
I see. Wonderful. And it has a locator in it, right? It has a. Doesn't it have?
An extra feature is like a GPS chip.
Yes.
That locates your luggage around the world and sends your locations to your cell phone.
So if where did I put my luggage, you could just look on your cell phone and it'll show you where it is. Yeah. Or if the airline loses your luggage, you can tell the airline where it is.
Tell them where to get it. So that option is in development right now, so we hope to get it done by the end of June, actually.
Oh, wow. Month. Well, that's it. And the product itself, when are you shipping that? Because now in your Indiegogo campaign, you have another 2 months, really, to the finished campaign, right?
Yeah.
So you can get it.
Good. Yeah, we have all the molding and tooling done already at my factory. So we're ready to mass produce it end of this month in June.
Wow. Yeah. So you're ready. You're going.
Yeah,
nothing's going to stop. You're not even going to wait for the 2 months to be over. You're going, huh?
Yeah. So we got quite a few pre-orders around the world, in China, Europe already.
Yeah. Well, that's good. No, it's fun. It's fun looking. It makes sense. You know, I mean, now with more and more people living in the city, we got to get rid of these big cars. And it's something, to me, all the other options, you know, whether it's a scooter, a bicycle, or even these bigger, you know, self-propelling machines, they're either look dangerous or they're too big. This just packs up like a suitcase and it doesn't matter. You take it in the office, you take it in the airplane, you can put it on your bike and go somewhere too.
Exactly. You know more than me on this product. Sounds like. Awesome.
Because I mean, anybody who's alive knows how important something like that is. Yeah, and if you live in a city, you know that's cool. And it doesn't take a license, right? It doesn't take any kind of stuff. So you know, a responsible 12-year-old could take it up to this. To school.
School campus, you know, maybe on the way to high school. Yeah.
That's a great thing on college campuses. And now on your campaign, you get this like at a 40% discount. So if you get it now, if you don't get it now, you're going to wait and you're going to pay a lot more, right?
Yeah, so we hope to help a lot of people out in the city and students too, you know, get to places faster, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they can't wait to go to class. Well, they don't. They can't. They could probably wait, but they'd rather not be late and get a demerit. Yeah. So that means they could sleep longer, they could party longer, and still make it to class. Right. And so it's electric, right? So it recharges and just a normal power.
Electric. You charge it for about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And the range is up to, for my weight, I weigh about 160 pounds. And I get about 6 to 7 miles out of
wow.
charge.
6 to 7 miles. Well, that's a couple days worth of, getting back and forth.
Yeah, like short commute, like a 3-mile commuting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole city is going to be full of people standing up on their scooters, and not as a regular scooter, but a scooter with a piece of luggage on the front.
Yeah, with
so
the computers in it.
You put your computers, and that plastic is so strong that it really protects it. So if you have it in your knapsack,
it's polycarbonate. It's really strong. Yeah.
So it's to be stronger than a knapsack or anything else you could put in. Well, thanks for sharing all this stuff in the U.S. and making it here first. We usually buy all the things in China. You're developing it here and selling it to China, aren't you?
Yeah, at the same time, China
right.
at the same time.
And all over the world. We all need this.
Yeah.
And that's why the world is so small. And you're making it smaller, you're making it easier, and you're making it faster. Pardon me? And cleaner, right? I forgot about it. Oh, right, I forgot all of that part. That will motivate, a whole bunch of people just will buy it for that, because anything else. I mean, if you have a Vespa, that's burning all that oil and polluting everything, and this could go as fast as my Vespa down the city streets. Yeah, you can't go any faster than 10 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour. What the hell? So you might as well do it on something you could carry into the office with you, and you don't have to worry about it. So that's cool. Sorry.
So it won't get stolen outside.
Right. That's
bike outside. It gets stolen.
No, and in big metro areas, urban areas, that's a concern. So just go to CoolPeds, CoolPeds.us, and you see Tony's coolest motorized carry-on, and do it now before he's going to have to raise the price once he finishes his Indiegogo campaign. And see the videos. I mean, the videos of this thing going through the airport and people looking at you, or even the city streets of Shanghai. I love watching those, and in New York City, and you have this all over. That's a wonderful. Just watching your video, you get a tour of the globe.
Oh yeah, almost.
It's a travel tour. So that's coolpeds.us. Tony, thank you so much. I'm glad you're doing this stuff.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Okay, now here's a Google Hangout I did with somebody else. They were interviewing me instead of me doing the interview. A sweet guy up in Washington State, Steve Simonson. And he does marketing for an organization called WearMax. And I interviewed him actually about his Kickstarter campaign. And he's terrific because this interview that he wanted me to do for him that you can watch now, because I got a copy of the Hangout following this, is that to help struggling entrepreneurs start their business, create projects, find a project, get a source of a project, find out how to market it online, and really you do nothing. You're just a middleman creating a brand. You brand something, you find a product, put your brand on it and sell it, and you got a whole business. Now what could be better than that? Well, that's what the people that he tries to help really for free. I mean, he just believes in marketing, believes in entrepreneuring, so he's trying to help people for free. And so that's why I did an interview with him to help people learn about marketing your own business, your own brand, and all you need is brain power. So watch this.
Okay, Matthew Lesko, one of the most famous marketing icons in the world, as far as I'm concerned, certainly in the United States. We're privileged to have him with us. Welcome to you, Matthew. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks.
So everybody knows kind of Mr. Lesko from the question mark suit, and he was very prolific in I would say 10 or 15 years ago. especially on infomercials and TV, talking
Right.
about government grants and programs. That's kind of where people would most know you from in your books, of course.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's infomercials. I mean, anything general media. I was doing talk shows, and actually now that Letterman's gone, I see all my old clips from Letterman talk shows are popping up on YouTube. Yeah, and it's funny to see me with black hair. Yeah.
Yeah, I could. That's a good look back. I'm going to find some clips with me with some hair from the old days too. So I want to just take you through and talk a little bit about maybe some of your past, if you don't mind. And one of the questions
Not ex-wives, right?
No, not like that. But one of the questions some of the guys in our group asked was, what was your first job? When you came up, what was the first job that you did?
God, first job. I was worried. 8th grade. I remember I was so pissed off at my father. I had to work on all summer in the factory. We had a garment factory. Oh. Yeah, in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. 8th grade, man. I mean, I was making a ton of money for that time, but I hated going to work. So, all my friends were at the swimming pool, and I had to go to this stinky factory every day work. And I hated it. And that's when I thought, God, if people have to work all day, I mean, most of our adult life is spent working, and if work is really work, boy, that's like being in jail all day, So I think that the key to life is how do you, live and feed yourself by not having to do something you hate all day, or God. And then the older I got, I see, man, there's so many avenues to that, because it really cuts down your growth. I mean, if you're there just for money or whatever, God, you're swallowing your ego, you're swallowing your heart and everything all day long just to please somebody else. And then somebody else has control of your life, too. And that creates anxiety, I think, over time, if somebody else controls you versus you. And so you die. Well, yeah, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but
well,
those shitty jobs I had, man, I never want to work for anybody. And then when I got out of college, I'd work for somebody. I'd work at retail or offices. I actually had a computer business. I went in the Navy. I was a ship driver during the Vietnam War, and got out of that. Was going to come to Washington and work for the government. Go to try to get a bachelor's degree, and boy, I didn't want to do that after I found out what work in the government was like. And, boy, I just had to be my own. I worked for somebody for 6 weeks and found myself calling the guy an idiot, and I said, I'd rather, it'd be nicer if I had people I hired and they called me an idiot behind their back. That would be less stress for me than me running around.
I like that. The secret to hiring is having the employees think you're the idiot instead of you working for the idiot. I like that. Well, I mean, I do think there's a lot of similarities to entrepreneurs in general, which is it's difficult to kind of be put into that. I've always considered working for somebody else like working in a coal mine, right? It's only 4 foot high. You have to kind of duck down. There's no pleasure in it, and everybody hates it. And perhaps you agree with this premise, but one of the other questions was, don't you feel like society in general is just building people to be cogs in the wheel instead of being free and entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what higher education is. I mean, there's no significant data, that shows that, where you go to higher education or whatever, you go to Yale or Podunk or whatever, but everybody's rushing those two things to get a job that, you want to quit. I mean, it seems like we're getting all these credentials so we can get a quittable job, job we just can't wait to get out of.
Yeah.
And what I see on the internet now is people teaching themselves stuff. Anything, technology, anything. Higher education is, you're right. I think the most important, I mean, of course, there's exceptions. You want to be a doctor, you can't, you got to learn those skills. But, most of it is just, so the fat cats who need to hire thousands of people, it's easy to qualify them,
Yeah, that's right. I suppose that the main thing is when you think of the Fortune 500s, they just want to have check boxes checked, right?
Exactly.
And, but so many of those careers, and again, from various bits of data, there are a lot of people who are unhappy ultimately in those careers. They burn a lot of hours, they make some money, but there's no harmony in that lifestyle for a lot of people.
No, I mean, I see it. I mean, I live in a suburb of Washington, D.C., a rich suburb, and these lawyers, they're making $1 million a year, and just hate their job every goddamn day.
Yeah.
What a waste of talent. What a waste to the world. I mean, and also what they're doing, is holding that job for somebody who really wants it, because we get sucked into doing something, So that's why, to me, I think we just stop the world. Everybody, it's like musical chairs. Stop, and everybody runs to the job they really want, because you're holding somebody else's job, who really would kill for that job. But
it's very fascinating how, because I think a lot of how, your move through high school and college and so forth, your move towards not what you love or your passion, is kind of just what you may have been good at, or, what maybe your family wants you to do. So, my philosophy, and I've shared this with you before, but I believe the world needs more entrepreneurs. And so tell me today, or as you transition from your, experience trying to work for the government and you started your own business, what do you consider your first big break? How did you kind of break out of the norm?
Failure. That was the biggest break I ever had in my life, man. Because I got an MBA, I was starting businesses, and I got an MBA in computers back in the 70s, where the computer was bigger than this room. And I had a software company that failed. And I was doing everything when you talked about, who forces you in. So I got an MBA. I'm learning how to do business and doing everything like everybody else says. And I think that's our biggest problem, is that we're taking advice too much. That worked for somebody, but we're also goddamn different, And I was doing like everybody said. I was failing my ass off. And see, failure to me was my biggest fear in life. I mean, I don't know about you. In school, you never fail. That's another problem with school. Failing is bad. Don't do that. And so, I grew up thinking, if I ever failed at something in business, I'd have a big F on my forehead. Everybody would point at me, and it'd be terrible. And then when I finally failed twice in business, I realized nobody gives a shit. No, nobody cares. We're all so selfish and involved in our own life. We really don't care about you. That was liberating.
Very fascinating. So you're saying that the failure was the catalyst for you to break out and find the next thing.
Absolutely. Because then I found out what I was good at. I was trying to be a software guy, because that was back in the 70s. That was it. That wasn't me. Look at that. I mean, millions and millions of dollars acting like an asshole on TV, and it got me thrown out of 3 schools.
Really?
Because I was just a guy with ants in my pants in every class. Nobody. I thought my name was Sit Down. It was Sit Down, Lesko. Sit Down, Lesko.
Well, that's I definitely I actually to some of the members of my group yesterday, I wrote an email that said fail fast, and it's critical to your success. And I essentially agree that you've got to keep making decisions and keep moving forward. So that's fascinating. So as you think about today, compared to when you got your big break, or when you really broke out in business and kind of hit the big time, what do you see as the differences between then and now?
Well, there were more, all the established systems, particularly marketing and selling, which is really what business is all about to me. I mean, you could list 1,000 things about business. You need a lawyer. I think all that is bullshit. The only thing that's important to do is getting a customer. Everything else is detail. So if any other consultant comes up to you, or a lawyer or accounting, and tells you how important something is, you really have to ignore it until you have so much business you don't know what the hell to do with it, and you're trying to manage it. But until you get to that point, screw everything else. You have very little time in your life or in the day, and you have to concentrate on what I call the critical success factors of your business. And that is getting a customer. So you can't be sitting a half-hour meeting, designing a fucking business card or whatever it is, or meeting with a board of directors, and most of those people aren't going to get you customers. And it's just getting a customer. And what's different between systems were established, how things were sold in this country and everything, they evolved, and peaked in the 90s or 2000s or whatever. And now we're developing all new systems. So nothing in the past works. So if anybody's giving you advice over 40, man, forget it. Because they're relying on something that once worked, and it doesn't anymore. The poor people, like my age, we're trying to make that work again. It works so well, but it won't, And it's better to have, no preconceived notions, and you figure it out yourself. Just try 100 goddamn things until you find what works for you, what your product, where your potential customers are, and nobody could really tell you that except you through trial and error.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Fundamentally, if you don't have a customer, you don't have a business, and I agree with you. The rest of it is, how you details, but you got to have a sale before you can have a claim, is one of the things I have said before. So in this world of, kind of Uber and Fiverr and Airbnb and so forth, isn't it, do you agree with my premise that, gosh, there's so much opportunity out there, the crowdfunding, the shareable economy? I mean, isn't this a great time to be alive?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In my days, I want to sell something. We had to get a store. We had to invest a couple $100,000 in a store. Now I invest $20 on a website, and I'm in business. And then plus what's neat, and then to get traffic, you would have to make some big deal with a mall, a shopping mall that would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to get in some big traffic shopping mall. Now on the web, like Amazon, get on there, man, that's the biggest shopping mall in the world. People are coming on bupkis, to be in that mall, So it's phenomenal. I mean, it is. You don't need expertise. You can learn most of it all yourself. The platforms, as we get more developed on the web, it's becoming easier and easier. I mean, for anything, you could have, you want to be in the pet sitting business. Now somebody has a platform to be a pet sitter, So people are coming to that platform every day. You have an extra room. Like we have an extra apartment down in Washington, D.C. that we don't use. I put it on Airbnb. It doesn't cost me a nickel. Man, we're getting thousands of dollars a month just for nothing, I'm not doing any marketing even. They're doing all the marketing, It's phenomenal, like never before.
It really is amazing, whether it's the Airbnb or the Fiverr, you can do little spot jobs, right. Or Amazon, which is a big deal for the folks in my group. These guys are starting their businesses on Amazon. They're making their own private labels, and they're taking the product where the customers are, right? Which is a big part of that. What advice do you have for these guys? They're just starting out. Many of them are probably a little nervous. They're afraid of failure. Any general advice?
Yeah, quit now before it really hurts. No, I mean, you got nothing to lose to them. So what? I mean, it is. God, I remember in the beginning, man, I used to be so afraid. The only way I was able to get business was cold calling people on the phone. And I was not a salesman. So it was something, I mean, people see me as the biggest huckster in the world now, but truthfully, when I got out of college, I could never be a salesman. I said, I could never sell anything. I could never do that, because selling to me was something somebody else didn't want. And you had to convince them and push their buttons and all that kind of stuff. And so if the name of the game is selling, then the way to eliminate selling and be a better salesman is just, you have to believe in what the hell you're doing. I don't sell. You see me on that infomercial, I believe in this shit so much, man. I'm not selling. I mean, you don't want, I'll get on talk to you. I'll throw the book away. You don't need this. Because if you have something higher, you have to have something higher than you and your pocketbook to work for in order to be authentic nowadays. Otherwise, everybody's a little, I mean, the slick people could really fool you, but most of them can't. So I mean, you have to be real authentic, and that's why find a product, find something you really believe in, that you really feel that people could help. You could help. And so another way to sell to me too is to give things away. If it's information, like 10 reasons product. Yeah, right. Or whatever. I mean, how what anything. Here's 10 things you can do without me. And understand the system. What I've learned from understanding this product or whatever. to reassure people that you're just not kind of grab their money and run away. I mean, I think the world is coming more like that, you know, and with the internet and everything, it is, I think, the way to sell. Everybody's too slick, you know, and people, I think we're getting sick of that. And if you're a small guy, how are you going to be different? You know, if you're a big guy, you can compete with the big slick, but you're small, you can't. So you have to compete with honesty. Oh my God.
It is ironic that authenticity can win the day. And, you know, in this world of reviews, you know, Amazon reviews are almost like the future currency, right? If people don't believe in you and you have to earn the reviews, I think Amazon is driving a tremendous amount of customer service improvements across all of these micro businesses. Because if you don't treat the customer right, they'll say it. And that will have big cascading effects. It's funny, by the way, to hear you talk about sales. You know, this is the guy in the question mark suit talking about selling, but really, I agree with you that ultimately transferring your confidence from from yourself to the end buyer, and they should only get it if they need it, if it really adds value to their lifestyle. I really believe in that as well. So it's a funny contrast to see that. So. As I mentioned before, you're very prolific. You create a lot of content. There's a lot of things that you're doing. I know that Lesko.com is one of your websites. What should we be on the lookout for? How should we follow
what you guys may be interested in more, I just started a new website I'm building called Big Data Lesko, BigDataLesko.com. That has, number one, the largest database of how-to interviews for getting free money. I mean, I got like 1,500 interviews there, how-to interviews. People who got money on the internet and places like that, non-traditional sources of money. Also, I have a database of millions and millions of businesses who got government money. So you could put a zip code in there and see what businesses that you know or in your neighborhood got government money, what they got, so you could apply to the same program.
Cool, I like that.
And you know, people just don't know about that. So that's what we're building, a big database, and it's all public information that we're using, and we don't charge for that.
Well, it really is amazing. You know, the thing is, it's not about being the creator of the information always. It's getting the information to the platform, right? That's no different than Airbnb. You talked about, hey, you've got an idle apartment, but what are you going to do? You're going to go around, run ads, and put up posters, and get that, right? It's all about you know. So it sounds like service.
More things are technology. I mean, well, my first New York Times bestseller was a book I copied from the government printing office. You know, and it's just packaging, marketing. That's the key. We're all rearranging reality. You know, is really what it is in this country. We're taking somebody else, like somebody in the media services or whatever. The information is all out there. You're saving people time by rearranging it, packaging it, or whatever, and adding a value to it. You know, for people.
Time is the one resource you can't buy, so I think it's a high value. Would you mind just briefly telling us the story, because I've heard it, but I for the benefit of everyone else, of that first book or that book that you did where literally, you know.
Yeah, I plagiarized the whole thing. See, I flunked English in college. You're in Wisconsin. I went to Marquette in Milwaukee and flunked English there with the Jesuits. And so when I had a New York Times bestseller, man, but my first book I plagiarized, I still plagiarize a hell of a lot. Nothing in the government is copyrighted. I found this book in the government printing office called The Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance, just hanging around the you know. And so I really took that book and I cut and paste the whole thing, you know, and sent it to a publisher in New York, you know, and they gave me like 10 grand or something at the time. I don't know what it was, small amount. And then I wanted to tell people about this so much. And so then I got on talk shows, figured out how to do that. I feel like a fool on talk shows. And actually my parents didn't admit I was their kid for the first 10 years on television. I acted so crazy. And it became a New York, and I didn't write a lick, you know, and that's what life is about. It's not, everybody has $1 million ideas. You know, you go to a party, everybody's got a gazillion, but it's doing something. So the name of the game in anything is doing something. And that's why now you could do almost anything for less than nothing. So the only trick in life is doing as much as you possibly can with as little money as, because the name of the game is trying free things, and that's what the internet allows you to do. Now, instead of doing it the way I did, you could take that book, make an ebook out of it yourself for no money, put it on Amazon and just try to promote the hell out of it, and it would cost next to nothing versus hundreds of thousands of dollars that the publisher in New York had to do, to do that. And so you can do it all and get all the money instead of 7.5%, which I got.
I love it. Well, it's a terrific story, and it's a great way to reframe the reality, right? That it's about access, it's about marketing, it's about kind of adding value, and you certainly have demonstrated that over the years. So the final question I have for you, this is just the fun part of for us. You, of course, again, a big icon in the world that we have grown up in, pop culture for sure. I read somewhere that you are the number 2 or 3 most recognizable guy from infomercials. I think it was like number 3, right? Yeah, so maybe that guy Mike in the sweater who was selling some kind of cooking thing. I don't remember, but
remember him? Yeah,
I do. Yeah, he had an accent. But the question is, name drop some of the places that you've already talked about. David Letterman. Who else have you met that would be fun for?
I've been on Oprah a few, like 3-4 times. Been to Letterman maybe about 7 or 8 times. Larry King maybe a dozen or more. Today Show a handful of times. Good Morning America. Leno. Actually, the hot shows that are there now. Saturday Night Live, I was on. They'll parody me. Jon Stewart parodied me a couple times. Who's the guy, the British guy that now has his own show? I forget
Oliver?
his name. Oliver. He would dress like me and be me for. He's done that a couple times. And even who's the guy that now got Letterman's place? He used to talk about me, and the late night comedy people would parody me versus having me on. And I think like even Saturday Night Live, somebody dressed like me in something. I remember me and Matt Damon, or someone dressed like me talking to Matt Damon. I forget what it was about government stuff.
Oh, that's fun.
But that's more than I ever thought I'd be able to do in life. Coming from a town like Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, flunking out of school, barely getting through college or whatever. And that's why I think your heart is all that shit out of my brain about what I thought I had to do or the way it should be done. The only way you're going to make a real contribution is digging inside yourself to see what's there, because that you will do better than anybody else. And that, to me, is your best gift that you have to offer to the world, is what's unique about you, not what's the same as everybody else about you, but what is unique about you. And that's your gift to the rest of us. And even to my age now, at 72, I'm still digging down. And even in my personal relationship, family, how to live. I mean, it is a satisfying life. It is being as most natural and authentic and digging inside of you as you possibly can. But there's no encouragement in our society to do that. Everybody encourages you to be like somebody else. So then you're not tapping into the best stuff you have. And that's a waste.
What a great way to end this little conversation. I thank you again, Matthew Lesko. Everybody check out bigdatalesko.com. Let's give it a look and check it out. And my thanks to you again. It is a tremendous honor, and I appreciate all your time and your helping give back to entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. And actually, I used the floor cleaner the other day. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you said it. Yes. Taking out the scratches was wonderful.
I love to hear it. All right, Matthew, thank you again. I'm going to click the go button here.